Welcome, birthday boys. I'm Eric once again. This is Cody, and then the one and only JP behind controlling all the fancy stuff that me and him are too dumb to figure out. I think we're gonna get right into talking about Kill Tony.
Yep.
Me and Cody have both had the pleasure to get on Kill Tony and get on Kill Tony quick.
Yeah.
While it was still at Vulcan.
Yeah, it was still at the Vulcan.
Yep. So we were both in it within a month.
Yeah,
or
month
like
of being here.
Right in being a month of being here.
Yep.
So either God hates us and wanted to punish us fast, or we're prodigies and God knew that. So we're gonna let the people decide.
I mean, it was a very fun experience to say the least. He called me Zach Metheron.
That's proper, you know.
So that was a backhanded compliment from a gay cowboy. So I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Not mad about it. It was a fun time. I got onto it, man, and I told jokes about my ex-girlfriend that well, we're no longer together, but I got to tell the material I had about her, which was it was fun. It was very cool. I was honestly shitting bricks the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
It was the most nervous I've ever been doing stand-up comedy. Yeah, dude, it was a mind-blowing experience getting to do jokes in front of Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah. Well, and who was the guest host whenever you were there?
It was Derek Preston?
Preston?
Derek Preston.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it was really cool. I got to, he didn't really rattle off a whole lot. It was more of a Tony talking about my mother who had breast cancer.
Yeah, beautiful. We'd want nothing less.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. What about you? How'd your experience go?
Yeah, so also was shitting myself. Because, so I had this theory back whenever I was still in Missouri. And anytime I'd go to, do, a big show, I did this big, probably, the only, big, stadium arena kind of ish show. Or, I guess it's really, a real theater. And I went and I was on my way to it to do it for the first time, and I was driving there, and I was panicked. I was freaking out. And because I'd wanted to get on this show, and it was called Pints and Punchlines. And I've been wanting to get on that show ever since I started comedy. And it was always the thing, if you do good enough on the open mic, you might get noticed by this guy named Rob Harris, who was a comedy legend in Missouri. And if Rob Harris noticed you, liked you, thought you were funny, you'd get invited to come do Pints and Punchlines. So I worked my ass off all the time to get in Pints and Punchlines. I finally got it, and he's like, hey, how about you come to the show, blah, blah, blah. I was like, fucking, of course. And I was driving there, and I was freaking out. I went, hey, stupid. It's just comedy. You've been doing comedy for years now. You know what you're doing. You know, what you're going to say. Just go up there and do that. As I walked to the Kill Tony stage, all that left. All of the, you got, it was just you're fucking stupid. And Tony Hinchcliffe was about to call you a dumb cunt. In front of everyone. Because you're not actually any good at this. And so, that was my whole thought process going up there. And then Chris DiStefano was the guest host.
All right. Great guest.
Dude, and, he's one of my, idols. You know, I've known about him for, quite a little bit before I started comedies, whenever I found some of his tapes, and I was like, this guy is hilarious. So, having him there on my first Kill Tony, I was, so nervous. I never get nervous about shows, because, like I said, I always just go, it's just doing comedy. The worst thing that happens is you bomb, and you do better the next time you get on stage. But, going up there, it's this might be the only time you get on.
Yeah.
So, if you eat shit and die, it's going on YouTube.
In front of a lot of people.
Everyone's going to find out.
Yeah.
Because, did you have anybody from, back home, find your set and, hit you up or anything like that?
I had a bunch of people. It was also because, I live with my best friend.
Yeah.
And we watched it live together.
Yeah.
And he was watching it with the live comments on. And then he was recording it,
brutal,
sending it to all of the Facebook of the people from back home.
Brutal, dude.
So I didn't have a choice in them watching it. They watched it.
Yeah.
And but after you would have I had people hit me up dude, we could tell that you were nervous, but you killed it.
Yeah.
You did really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
that was good.
It's a cool thing whenever you're because my set just came out on Kill Tony on Monday. So, and I had told a few people, but I was like, man, I want to watch that shit. so that I can see, like, how'd that really go? And, you know what I like? Because sometimes you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then you, like, watch a tape and you're like, that didn't land the way I thought it did.
Exactly.
You know? So, like, I think my was subpar. You know? Like,
yeah.
Luckily for me, Uncle Laser, apparently, like, after my set, went on a tangent and, like, pissed a bunch of people off online.
They did, apparently.
Yeah,
I'm in all the groups, man. I see it.
Yeah, so, like, I missed that happening because, like, I got done. I went over to the bar next door and, like, grabbed a drink and stuff with a couple of the other comics I've met. And, you know, so, like, I missed Uncle Laser doing whatever the fuck he did.
Mm-hmm.
But these people just were, like, I went on Reddit and it was just like, let's see what the moles of society are saying.
Yeah.
And it was all just about Uncle Laser, and I was like, sweet. No one is like, fuck this guy in his stupid head. You know, like, so I was like, whew, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all in all, I think it went pretty good. But one of my best friends from back home, like my comedy friends,
Mm-hmm.
He hit me up, and he's like, hey, super dope, you got on Kill Tony. Good job, all this and that. And he's like, just want you to know, I'm releasing your clip on Facebook and shitting on you hardcore. Love you, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. All right. I was like, you know, if a fellow friend comic didn't tell me to go kill myself, I would think he didn't like me anymore. So it was one of those things of like, all right, yeah, that's cool. And like, he put up there, he's like, look at Eric Biggs continuing his Missouri comedy tradition of bombing and eating shit in front of Tony Hinchcliffe. And I was like, you're such a cunt.
Yeah.
Like, love you. You know, what else could you say about a friend that, like, you know? So I was like, all right, you know, and then all the, like, comedy people, you know, friends with me and him are liking it, like, shooting me messages and stuff, like, hey, that's so dope. And I had a random guy on Facebook just, like, message me and was just like, glad to see you repping for Missouri. And I was like, I don't know you. He's like, that shit about your girlfriend's hilarious and blah, 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 and whatever. And I was like, hey, really appreciate it, you know, keep on watching for more of my stuff, you know, like, I was like, that's kind of cool just having some random stranger go through the effort of, like, how do I find this? Mm-hmm. How do I find this guy? Like, because I even went through the mutual friends, I was like, do we know something? No, I don't know where he was from, but he was just like, I heard Missouri, good enough. Now repping down there in ATX. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
But, yeah, I say it was super cool, and I think it's super cool that both of us got on Kill Tony super early.
Yeah.
Because, like, after my set, like I said, one of the dudes I was standing in the pit with, or the cattle cages, whatever you want to call them, he came out and he met me at the door. He's like, hey, man, I'll buy you a drink next door. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, you know, I went over with him, and then another guy came over, and we were all sitting around. And I was like, yeah, you know, I wondered how long it would take before I got on Kill Tony. And they were like, how long you been here? And I was like, oh, like a month. And they were all like, fuck you. Like, just started lighting my ass up. And, you know, it was like, I've been here 6 months. I've been here a year. I've been here 5 months. Like, all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are so annoying.
And it's, it was really kind of, it's kind of wild because, like, because I came down here from Denver, but, like, while I was in Denver, Kill Tony was, like, the thing. Like, I watched it every Monday. Yeah. Like, it was the show. And, like, I kept talking to, like, my comic buddies, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go down to Austin. Yeah. I'm gonna get on Kill Tony, and I'm gonna get me this big joke book. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna do a first try. Like, I'm confident in it. Yeah. And then I ended up coming down here, and, like, the first, like, 3 weeks, like, like, as you're in those cage, man, you're just, like, sitting there, you're just like, all right, when am I gonna go? And you're just anxiety filled the entire time. Like, you're scared out of your mind. And then it was the 4th time I was the last comic of the night that they drew from the bucket.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I was about to leave.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, well, they're about to do William Montgomery and it's going to be show over. Yeah. And then he was like, let's do just one more bucket pull. Yeah. It just so happened to be me. And I was like, huh? And so I just fucking darted and went on, dude. Did my bit. And then in the interview process, bro, he tries to pull stuff out of you, so I try to be, like, interesting, because I'm not really that much of an interesting person, in my opinion. But I do have MMA background. Yeah. So he asked me to shadow box, which sucks because boxing wasn't even my thing. Yeah. I was a jiu-jitsu guy. I like to grapple and shit.
Yeah, you like to choke out and stuff.
You're damn right. That is, look.
You're like, I'm taller than you, bitch.
There is nothing better than choking out a woman There's nothing better than implying that I am stronger than a woman, dog. But see, in doing MMA, like you can do that.
Oh
and
my gosh.
There's nothing wrong about it.
Yeah,
It works.
Yeah. I mean, they might not like the fact that you came, but
They that's frowned upon.
yeah,
But
you
it's
still
not
tell
against the
anyone.
rules.
Yeah. It's not against the law for me to come. Come on.
It's not against the law
We have
for me
pants
to
on.
do it.
We have pants.
We have gi pants on.
Yeah.
But
Did you wear the goofy outfit and everything?
no.
Oh, okay. As I say, like,
This is my style, is the flannel shirt.
yeah.
So like I have a flannel shirt on.
Yeah, you're just like rubbing buttons on people while you're trying to choke them. They're like, "What the fuck? What in Louisiana's happening?
But
Is that Gator?"
But yeah. So like I ended up having to do shadow boxing, which I thought made myself look ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And then I did that. Then I talked about my mother who had breast cancer.
Yeah.
And the entire room turns on Tony.
Yeah.
Because he starts going in about breast cancer jokes.
Yeah.
And so I ended up telling him my breast cancer joke that I have about my mother. And then after that, he was like, "Well, what else do you have?" And then I juggled.
You did a lot of bits.
I did bits, dog.
You did a lot of bits.
I came prepared to make a fool of myself.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like no one looks cool shadow boxing.
No, absolutely not.
Like
you
Mike,
look like an idiot.
Yeah,
I look like an idiot.
Yeah, Mike Tyson shadow boxing. It's like, look at this pussy. You know? Then he punches someone, and you're like, "Oops," you know. That's God.
That is, dude. Yeah. So like it was really cool. I did have people from back in Denver who did they did a whole watch party for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I was being like very up to date with them. Like, yo, check it out in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be on Kill Tony. So it was a bunch of my old coworkers from J. Crew.
Oh, that's
Shout
awesome.
out to my people at J. Crew. They ended up doing like a whole like get everybody off of work so they could go and do a watch party for
that's
the
badass.
Kill Tony.
That's super badass.
So it was really cool. Like it was a very it's a cool experience, terrifying, shit myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I want to do it again though.
Yeah, say same. Like, and I haven't went back since I did my set, also because I was there 2 weeks ago whenever I did mine.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm not going back yet because I gotta make sure I have like a better minute.
Yeah.
You know, so now I'm like, oh, I got enough to like do like half of a good tight minute of like, because that's the other thing. Like, where I came from doing comedy, we did long sets. Like, the open mics you hit every week, you got 5 to 7 minutes. So the idea of like the tight little punchline jokes was never really a big thing. I leaned more into like doing the storytelling stuff and like having, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, this is a whole different muscle to work out.
Yeah.
Of course, in Austin, it's a little bit easier to work it out because a lot of shows you go do, it's
3,
like,
4
oh,
minutes.
you got 3 minutes. It's like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I can go and like practice the different reps. But, you know, I didn't come down here with like, oh, well, I have 4 hours of one-liners. It's like, oh, I have a lot of stories and, you know, long drawn-out bits and stuff like that, and then jokes between, referencing back. So it's a different muscle.
Yeah.
And it's really cool seeing the guys that, like, were really great at just that. And, like, I knew a lot of people back home that were, like, one-line guys. Like, they'd go up, they'd do their 5 minutes. It was, like, all one-liners.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, you need to come to Austin, dude. Because if you can get on Kill Tony, because you murder with all your 1 minute stuff, you'll do great.
Yeah.
But it's just a different kind of, like, muscle and rep thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I definitely think it's cool that we both have got on. You know,
It's very cool.
like we were talking about, so many people you meet, it's like, oh, yeah, I've been going for a year, 6 months, like, I never got on. It's like, oh, sorry, man. Like,
that makes me feel so bad, dude.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for people like that because like there's so many other mics on a Monday, especially out here. Dude, there's open mics every night of the week, and if you're dedicating every Monday to maybe being able to get on Kill Tony, you're really limiting yourself on what you could be doing out here.
Yeah, so, and it's one of those things. It's like it's what you get out of a Kill Tony. Like if you do a good minute on Kill Tony, what you could get out of it is so high.
Yeah.
Like you can get such a big pop, you know, but also if you go there and you never get on and you didn't get all these other reps that you could get in on Monday, like at some point it's like, oh yeah, well, like, where's the risk reward kind of factor of it?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it's like, how are you not going to try to get on the biggest live stand-up show in the world?
Exactly.
Like, it's hard to go and argue the idea of like, oh, I'm just not going to do that. It's like, I had somebody, the first show I went to down here, and they told me, they're like, don't even worry about going to Kill Tony. You ain't going to get on it. No one gets on it. 150 people sign up every week. Like, you're just going to waste your Monday. Come do all these other open mics. And I'm like, nah. Like, now I'm kind of in the, like, position of, like, trying to go and find what, like, a good, tight little next, like, 1 minute thing will be. It's like, oh, okay, well, now I can go out and
do the other mics and get your reps in and stuff.
Go do the other thing. But, yeah, I remember that dude telling me, he's like, don't even worry. You're never going to get on. But, and I was like, wow, you went for a while and didn't get on, didn't you?
Somebody sounds a little jelly.
Somebody's salty as fuck.
Yeah, dude, it's it's really cool because like getting what you really do get out of it is you get the opportunity to rub elbows with Redman.
Yeah.
Like if you get the secret show, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, you got to be very special to get the gold star.
Oh yeah.
And in special, I mean a little.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just had that one dude who has like cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
He got his gold star.
Yeah, and then he's been there every single week.
Exactly. And like then the guy before was Canadian, so also in his own way.
Yeah. Just not as good as an American.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But so like you have to be really, really, really special to get a gold star there. So that's something to reach for on it, like absolutely. But it's super, super hard to get.
Yeah.
So the more realistic thing to go for is going to be the secret show at Red Band.
Yeah.
Which paid gig on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And no telling who else is going to be on the show.
Well, yeah, you could have any number of giant headliners because Red Band is also legendary
podcaster
and comic, like, you know, up in the top echelon of the game.
Yeah.
So he has friends that are also the top of the top.
Yep.
So it's like, oh yeah, if you can go and impress Red Band, and like I've heard some stories of guys that like did good on Kill Tony, and then went and like got the secret show and went there and just ate shit, and then just quit comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, like I met a dude. We were talking outside because for anybody that doesn't know, essentially the way Kill Tony works, I'm sure it's gonna be the same now that it is over at Rogan's place.
Yep. Mothership.
Yep. So you get in a giant line outside. Homeless people berate you for $1 in cigarettes.
Yeah.
You tell them, I'm a comedian, I'm poor as hell.
They give you $1.
Yeah, they're like, here's $1, you broke bitch. And then, but you're in this giant line. You'd be there with anybody. So, like, I always try to, mix it up with anybody you're standing next to because it's just weird just standing there playing with your dick.
I stand there and play with my dick, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so in my head about
not talking to nobody.
I'm so in my head about that 1 minute, dog. Yeah. It's like, it's the nerves before you even go in is you're just like, all right, what minute am I gonna do? All right, is it gonna be good enough? And then you could like psych yourself out. That's what I did that night. Was I ended up psyching myself out and doing the second better of my minutes.
Yeah,
it was still really good.
Yeah,
but like I psyched myself out because I could have did the other minute and it probably would have went just as well, if not better.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like I forgot my second joke while I was telling my first one.
Yeah. I
have, in the recent years of doing comedy, I don't remember the last time I forgot the jokes I was going to do. Mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, so this is my set, blah, blah, blah. I forgot my second joke while I was telling my first one. And I was just like, well, I guess we're going to pull something else out of the bag.
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of my shit is like long storytelling stuff. So I just told like a small section of one of my like bigger story jokes. And it was just like, nah, whatever. Like very mid. And I was like, you stupid sack of shit. Like, I've been so mad at myself about that. I'm like, how do you forget one of your other, like, quick punchline, like, but, yes, and maybe it's because I'm friendly. I'm out here talking to too many of these motherfuckers. I wasn't focused enough.
I mean, it's just, like, for me, like, it was just like, this is the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, every day, every time I would sign up, like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this could be the day my comedy career changes.
Yeah.
And I did that for 4 weeks where it didn't change at all.
Yeah.
I was just as broke, just as not funny, just as unrecognizable.
Yeah.
So, and then I am now recognized as Zac Efron's method out brother. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Yes. Did you hang out at the Vulcan at all, like after the Kill Tony show that you did?
Yeah, I hung out with, but like they just do the bass player. He just did like some music.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, say because like whenever I went over to the bar next door, I was talking to one of the guys and he's like, hey, go hang out over there. Like, it's free. You might meet some people or whatever. And like, I didn't meet anyone that was on the show, but I had a lot of just like people that were in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like come up and be like, oh, like talk to me and like say good stuff. And I was like, oh, that was kind of nice. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure all those people have no idea who I am now, but it was cool being like feeling a little famous for a night. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like people coming up and being like, oh, I liked this, I like that, you know, whatever. Like that's kind of a cool thing. And then being like, okay, you're still poor. Like just fuck off and go.
Go
like,
back to your peasant life.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta go on now because I'm still just me.
And that was the thing was like I honestly put so much weight onto the moment of Kill Tony.
Yeah.
It'd be like, no, like I'm gonna get on there and my whole thing is gonna change.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
If anything, I just lost 1 minute of material.
Well, see, and I have thought about that because it's like, you know, I did this minute and I did 2 of like my really good like quick tags, and I was like, you know, I'm still gonna do those for a while.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, most places you go, they still like they might be like, oh, I recognize that. They probably ain't got no talking me.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
and like, so I was curious if you had like just like burnt that material, just be like, that's done. Of course, you can never do it at Kill Tony again because then you look like a dork. Like then you're an idiot. But
so for me, all right. So the material that I ended up doing was actually about my ex, and I had to burn it because we broke up.
Oh, okay.
And now, like, I've tried to like reuse, like, I've tried to take material from it because it's not all about her.
Yeah.
It was about like, there's some digs on myself in the material, so I try to take that material out and burn the rest of it. I just haven't found it like to be able to use it as smoothly as I wanted to in other material. So as of right now, it is burnt.
Yeah.
But you know, it could be Phoenix one day. Who knows?
Yeah. There's always a chance of it making
always
the
come
grand
back.
return. Yeah. And that is kind of the cool thing about whenever you're like starting out, or like, because we're still both
fairly new.
Really in the like starting out stages. Like your first 10 years, you're a new guy.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's not like a job where it's like, oh yeah, that guy's been here 7 years. He's a old dog. Like you tell someone, oh, I've been doing comedy 7 years. So they're like, shut up. You know?
Yeah,
you don't
you're
know
still
fuck
new.
about
You're still
shit.
wet behind the ears.
Yeah, like.
Yikes, dog.
Yeah, so, you know, sometimes you'll go and like burn out material or like be done with material, and then somebody will ask you like, oh, you still doing that bit? And I was like, no, I haven't done that bit in a couple of years. And then I go and look back at it, I'm like, this shit's funny, I should start doing it again, you know?
For me, what it was is a lot of my material from like whenever I first started comedy, it sounds more like a performance than it does as if it's like conversational pieces.
Yeah.
Which is something I can actually say is I'm getting better at now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The delivery is getting better in all my material. So I would have to like take the topics and rewrite the material in order for me. But I feel like that's something that you have to do constantly as a comedian anyways, just rewrite.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say the second that you think something's done means that you're giving up.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I knew so many people that would come up and do like the same 5-minute sets for 3 years. And I'm like, oh, so you don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, this is just the worst hobby ever.
And that is the one thing that I can say that I'm very terrified about.
Yeah.
Is getting to that place, is becoming that kind of comedian.
Yeah.
Where it's like, dude, this is like doing the same material over and over. Like last night, I got to do Cap City, and it was great. I love Cap City very much. There's always a fun crowd there.
Yeah.
And I was in my material, and I like to challenge myself, so I'll go to the middle of a joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, we didn't go through half the first of it, so now we have to put those bits toward the end, and let's mix up this whole bit.
Yeah.
And we never know, it could come out being a little bit more smoother.
Yeah.
So I constantly like have to play with material all the time, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because not messing with it makes it get boring.
yeah, 100%.
Like, you know, sometimes you go and you're like, oh, this is super funny, and then you're telling it a lot and you're going around, and then it's not really like a performance anymore. It's more of just like oh yeah, like you get in a routine of saying it, and it loses so much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like I said, I don't know how some of the people that I knew that, like, they'd come out, do the same 5 minutes, and everyone would be like, yeah, they've been doing that same 5 minutes for 3 years before you even got here. And it's
Jesus.
like, oh my God. Like, I get it. You get your good 5, and you're like, yeah, it's funny, but it's only funny the first time you hear the shit. Like,
Exactly.
that's part of the point of comedy. Like,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be a little like, oh, shit.
I didn't see that part coming.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to say that after he said that, you
Yeah.
know? And that's something that I think is always kind of hard, though, also, because most comedians, like, we're kind of lazy. You know, like, we didn't want real jobs.
Right.
That's why we became comics.
Right. That's true.
Like, we're hard work.
That's very true.
I think a lot of comics are hardworking to a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, like, doing this and being successful at it takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But you meet a lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, I just didn't want to, like, have a real job. So I just kind of make some money doing my ha-has. And it's like, you make me sad.
Yeah, like, you're...
Get away from me.
Like, that does suck, dude. Because, like, I couldn't imagine. Like, whenever I first started doing comedy, I was so obsessed with the idea of learning how an actual joke functions. Mm-hmm. Like, because you would watch the greats. I mean, like, Schultz, Segura, Kreischer. You watch the greats, and you just get so captivated by their jokes, and like, you don't. It's so hard to, like, figure out how they got from point A to point B with 9 laughs in between.
Yeah.
So, like, dude, I read books. I don't read. I have a Louisiana education. I don't read. Audiobooks are key when it comes to me. And, like, dude, whenever I first started out, and even still, like, kind of now, I'm a little bit busier now, but I don't do it every day. I used to write for an hour a day.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Because I heard Joe Rogan talk about it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And I heard some of the other greats talk about it. And I was like, okay, all right, if that's what the top people are doing, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they also talk about, after you get done writing, going for a walk.
And then just, like, flushing it out in your head.
Flushing it out, dog.
Yeah.
Or taking a shower.
Yeah.
I found that works for me, is taking a shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, because, like, my writing process is very just, like, as I'll come up with ideas, I'll jot them down.
Yeah.
Like, I went home for a buddy's wedding this weekend, all the way back to Missouri. And on the drive there, like, me and the girl would just be talking about stuff, and I'd be like, hey, that's kind of funny. I'd jot it down. And then I try to go back and just write off of, you know, all the different ways that the thing we were talking about or the, like, little idea I had, like, could be funny.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard. Like, you go back and you're like,
what the fuck does this mean?
yeah, you're like,
100%.
dolphins are what? You're like, you know, it's just is lost. But who were some of the guys that, like, were you always, like, a comedy fan? Or
No.
just kind of, like, got into it later on?
I got into it about 7 years ago, where I was starting to watch it aggressively.
Yeah.
And then one night I got into Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
And I started to really dig into his stuff.
Yeah.
And the crowd work special is literally the motivation for me doing comedy.
Yeah.
I was yeah, dude. Yeah, I was like, if he could do this unprepared, I can do this prepared.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah.
And then I wrote my very first joke that same night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, I've been very, very dedicated to this shit, man. Because I believe this is something, man.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? How'd you get your start, man?
Yeah, so the way I got into comedy and kind of, like, interested was my house was always kind of, like, comedy interested-ish. You know, like, being from where I'm from, like, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, like, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, like, my dad thought Ron White was hilarious. My mom thought Ron White was vulgar and terrible. You know, so, like, you couldn't watch Ron White around mom, but, like, you watch around dad. But, like, to me, comedy growing up was always, like, it was a thing, but it wasn't, like, attainable. You know, it was just like, oh, yeah, like, there's people that do that, but you have to, like, be a movie star and a comic. Like, you have to be Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, yeah, I do 17 movies a year, and then I put out a comedy special every once in a while. Like, to me, that was, like, how comedy worked. You know, like, I didn't realize that you could just be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. Okay.
And then whenever I was in college, I think is probably really whenever I got into comedy, because I went over to one of my buddy's house, and we just were hanging out and shit, and he turned on Rogan. And I was like, hey, is that the Fear Factor guy? And he's like, yeah, it's the Fear Factor guy. And he had Dan Bilzerian on.
Okay.
And I watched that episode, and I was like, oh, this is fucking hilarious and, like, super interesting and stuff. So I got into Rogan, and from that, you know, I got really into, like, Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura.
Two Bears, 1K?
Yeah, Two Bears,
Amazing.
1K. Like, one of the greatest. And then, like, slowly but surely, and then it was probably about a year or so after that, like, getting introduced to, like, Rogan was probably the first time I went and, like, tried to sign up for an open mic.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, by that time it was then, like, you know, because, like, I always knew about Bill Burr, but, like, Bill Burr is, like, one of my, like, all-time heroes. And, like, I'd really, like, gotten into him and, you know, got kind of, like, all the back channel. Because, like, getting into Rogan and stuff whenever I did, it was like, oh, yeah, there's already hundreds of episodes with world-renowned comedians on that you can go back and watch. And I think that's probably really, like, what got me into it. And then, you know, guys, of course, Rogan, Chappelle, Bill Burr, Bert Kreischer, Segura, like, those are all probably the guys that, like, were the most influential to me. Mm-hmm. And then in the recent years, I've seen guys like Schultz blow up and, you know, Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Just where it's like, oh, I kind of knew about you, but, like, you say some of those names like, you know, your parents or, you know, some other people aren't really into comedy. They're like, I don't know. Like, I was telling JP about this one time. One of my buddies back home, I went over to his house and we were hanging out and drinking beers. He's like, oh, you got to watch this, like, podcast clip. I don't know who these people are, but they're hilarious. And it was Theo Von, Andrew Santino, and the Asian dude, Jesus Christ,
Lee.
Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
That was probably really racist. I didn't remember the Asian guy's name. Holy crap. But yeah, and Bobby Lee. And it was them three.
At least you didn't say Chinese guy.
Yeah, like, you know, the chink. But yeah, so he, like, showed me this clip and was like, oh yeah, I don't know, I think there's some guys that have a podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't realize who these people are. Like, these are some, like, amazing, big headline comedians. And he was just like, oh yeah, just some show with some guys, and I think this clip's funny, and he's showing it to people. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's wild. Like, but it's like, oh, you know, I mean, if you would ask me middle of high school, you would have been like, who's this guy? It would have been like Andrew Santino. I probably would have been like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but
he
like,
blew up in the very recent years.
God, and Santino's so funny.
He is.
Like,
his special was really good too.
Yeah,
His Netflix special was really good.
I really enjoyed Cheeseburger. Because, like, which we can tell I love cheeseburgers. But, but like, his overall, like, premise of the whole special I thought was really cool. Of just being like, hey, I ain't got to be the best thing you've ever had. But if I'm always good, that's cool too. You know, like, and I was like, that's such a cool idea for a premise, especially from somebody who, like, has blown up and has gotten really famous. Of kind of like this whole, like, humbleness of being like, not everybody has to know me, but if I can have enough money and stuff to enjoy my life, it's like, well, fuck, that's all any of us can really ask for.
Yeah, it is.
Like, we all just sit at our day jobs and are like, I wish I could just not do this.
I am tired of waiting on tables.
Yeah.
God, I hate being a server so much.
Well, and, dude, me and my fiance went to Texas Roadhouse a couple weeks back. And we were eating. I don't know if we're supposed to say the name of the place you work. I don't know if that'll get you fired.
It won't get me fired, but they don't know which one. So
well,
it's okay.
yeah, that's fair. The one
in Austin, Texas. I work at a Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Which one? I don't know.
Yeah, but like we went there, and the level of cuntiness that people were to serve, I was like, shut the fuck up and eat your steak, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a table of people like get up and like protest their fried pickle order. I'm like, eat a dick.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't afford just eating fried pickles, say that. You know,
exactly.
like, don't be a cunt. And it's always old people, man. Like,
it is.
It's always fucking old people. Like, every time you like see an old person, they're like, oh, the new generation's so disrespectful. It's like, I've never cussed out a waiter.
Ever.
Not even one. It's never even entered my mind. Like,
I also tip even if I have bad service.
Yeah, like, because it's like, you know, it probably isn't your fault.
It's not.
Like,
Half the time, it is never the server's fault,
Yeah.
guys. Understand that.
Yeah.
If the server is a terrible server, they're probably not.
Yeah.
They're probably just busy. But it's. I mean, Texas Roadhouse is cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the easiest serving jobs I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, I used to work at Dave & Buster's.
Oh, yeah, that sounds god-awful.
It is.
Just like a bunch of drunk, middle-aged guys that still think
Playing
they're in the
arcade
frat.
games?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It
Yeah.
is the worst.
Just a bunch of post-frat boys being
Exactly. Trying to hit on chicks at the bar.
oh,
It was the worst.
oh my God.
And actually, funny story. So whenever I worked there is whenever I received my worst tip ever in my life. So a chick didn't tip me,
Yeah,
and it was a woman, white woman.
of course.
Have to be very specific
It's
about
always
that.
the whites.
It always she tipped me her Instagram handle.
It's like, bitch, there better be titties out.
Dog. So, I mean, she was an attractive female, but granted, white women aren't really my type.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
beside
yeah
the
we've
point.
learned you're into Latinos that need green cards.
Hey, I'm trying to use this white privilege for the right stuff,
Yeah,
you know?
dude, that desperate dick is way better. I gotta fuck him so I can get
They
citizenship.
grab you differently. They grab you like, I need you.
Yeah, white bitches have too much privilege.
Yeah, white women's
not-
like,
They're not throwing it back the way that
Exactly.
like somebody that needs to live in the United States does.
you're damn right. And I have found my niche. So this white woman tipped me her Instagram handle and didn't throw any cash. There was nothing. That was her tip. So I had every server in the restaurant. We all went and reported her Instagram for child pornography. We had 76 servers on staff.
Oh my God.
So her Instagram is no longer there.
Stephanie, you now know why.
So I'm
Dude,
sorry
can you-
if you are watching this and that was just happened to be your Instagram. Tip 20%, bitch.
Yeah. Well, she saw this and she's like, "Oh, that's that cute guy that waited on me one time." She like got this far in and then she's like, "You cunt!"
Yeah,
Pissed.
dude.
Like,
It was
she's like, "I had all my best titty pics on that on Instagram."
yeah, it was hilarious and like it was yeah, tip your fucking waiters, guys.
Yeah.
Tip the waiters and the bar staff, tip everybody cuz
Yeah.
they deserve it, man. We work hard for our fucking money. We work harder than OnlyFans people. Just saying.
Dude, the only time I've ever even kind of been tempted to hit on a waitress, because like for one, I feel like it's kind of gross.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, like, cause
Yeah.
like 99% of the time they're just being friendly for your money.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like strippers.
It's their job. It's their job to be nice. So you know, whenever you see guys in there like, oh yeah, the waiter, the waitress, like they want to fuck me. It's like, no man, they want your money.
That's it.
Like, yes, they're being polite and they're being cool, but like, there's only one time ever that I was like, oh, I think that like legitimately, this waitress is like interested. Me and a big group of my college buddies, we all went out to go to see like a Cody Johnson concert, and we went to a Texas Roadhouse because Midwest golden arches, you know what I'm saying? So we were at a Texas Roadhouse. Apparently everything happens there, and
Everything's bigger in Texas,
yeah, saying
especially the roadhouses.
especially the roadhouse, big old roadhouses everywhere. But and I was like, kind of like flirting back and forth with this girl. I was like, oh, like, you know, seems a little bit legit. And whoever the other table she had, old fucking white dude, cussed her out and was screaming at her and shit. And like, you know, that got broke up and she came over and then was like trying not to bawl her eyes out. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do it now. So I was like, that's just what it is. So we all just left her a giant tip and left. And one of my buddies is like, why didn't you still ask for her number? And I was like, you creep.
Yeah.
She was on the verge of like, what the fuck is your problem? I was like, bro, you don't hit on crying bitches. That's weird. Like, even if she's like, that's the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life. No. Like, no fucking shot. Like, yeah, she's just like sitting there like trying not to bawl. And I was like, this poor fucking girl. And then the next thing that happens, just some chubby white dude's like, you want to fuck me? Like, How could that make her day any better? You know?
It might make it worse.
Yeah, she would just be like, I'm gonna kill
It might
myself.
actually make her cry.
Yeah, she's like, that's enough. She's like, now the whats are into me. That's too much, you know. But yeah, I remember. But he's just like, why didn't you still do? And I was like, are you stupid, bro? Like, have you never fucked anyone ever?
Yeah.
Like, you don't hit on crying bitches. You leave them alone. You know, like
dude. Hitting on your server is weird, and like
Yeah.
now, it's getting interesting. It's always been interesting to be a server because like I see it on the regular because I have pretty coworkers.
Yeah.
And they get hit on all the time.
well, of course.
So it's always a fun game of if a dude leaves their number for you, they have to leave a certain percentage tip.
Yeah.
Before you, like, if you want that girl to text you,
Yeah.
you have to leave 25 to 40% tip.
Yeah, there better be $100 bill
You
underneath your phone
have
number.
to do, like,
Yeah.
because you have to understand, some of these females get hit on all night.
Yeah.
They get numbers all day.
Yeah.
And if you're throwing, like, a 5 on a 40, dog, you're not getting a text message.
Well, yeah, she's gonna be like, you're a broke bitch.
Exactly. So, like biggest tip, always tip high percentage if you're going to leave your phone number.
Yeah.
Or you will get a text message from a guy like me where I will send you a dick pic. I ain't scared.
Yeah.
Because that's what ends up happening in that kind of situation is they just give it to the cooks or they give it to us.
Yeah.
Like the guys, and we'll fucking text you. We're not scared.
Yeah, like we'll fucking ruin your day.
Yeah, like, because you're going to think you're getting a text from a pretty lady.
Yeah.
Dick pic.
Yeah. Well, see, what you
know what
got to
I'm
do
saying?
is you got to slow roll that. Butthole pick first.
Okay.
So then, like, they're like, am I gonna jerk off right now? And then all of a sudden, dick pic. Right at, you know, you gotta slow roll them into it. You know, where they're like are thinking about it, like they've walked to the bathroom but don't have their dick out yet. Like that's the route I think you should go from here.
That's not the worst idea.
Yeah, just like butthole, like real close so they don't see all the hair.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, this is a wild bitch. And you're like, you want to see some more? And they're like, yeah. And then dick pic, you know? And they're like, oh.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then just say, well, yeah, I was trans the whole time, you know? You were hitting on a man.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting. It's a different, interesting like job profession is the restaurant industry, because that's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, just that throughout the years is the reason why I don't really get stage fright in being in front of people.
Yeah.
Because throughout multiple times a night, I have to regurgitate the same information.
Yeah.
All fucking night.
Yeah.
So I guess that also plays a part into like always playing with my material and all.
Yeah.
Because my job is I have to do this. Like we basically have a script that we have to run off of.
Yeah.
So like saying the same shit over and over gets old fast.
Yeah. Do you ever try to be funny with?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. So actually a really interesting story is so if I ever go to give you a receipt, like if I have your table,
Yeah.
they in the system of Texas Roadhouse, my name is Comedian Cody.
Okay.
I have gotten it multiple times where people look at their receipt and say, "Who's Comedian Cody?" And then I'm like, "Well, that's me. I'm a comedian, or I'm trying to be a comedian."
Yeah.
And they're like, tell us a joke."
Oh my God. All
Okay.
those people need to die.
All right, sure. But like our style of comedy and like doing jokes, it translates kind of.
Yeah,
like,
but everyone thinks of jokes as like,
knock knock, who's there? That kind of shit.
yeah, it's all little Billy. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's not the same.
Yeah.
So like, okay, do I have 2 minutes to sit here and tell this whole bit of material?
Yeah.
So you'll see that it's different than what you think?
Yeah, well, so the worst time I ever had that happen to me, if somebody would be like, well, tell me a joke. And I have this joke, and I do it on stage, and it's a whole story, so watch me live somewhere. But I have this whole joke about, because it really did happen. I was driving home from a comedy show one night, and I just done like a really good set. You know how like after you do a really good set and like you murder, you're like, I'm God. You know, like you're like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
So I had one of those nights, went great, And then me and a couple other comics like kind of like went out and about and stayed out a little later than we should have. And I was driving home and I got pulled over like a mile from my house. And I was like, I'm going to prison. Like, I'm fucked. And this cop comes up. He's like, the fuck you doing? It's like 3 a.m, man, all this and that. And I was like, hey, I'm a comedian, but I also have a regular job. Mm-hmm. And he goes, okay. Took all my information, went back, and I was like, okay, he didn't, like, pull me out of the car. I'm probably good. So he comes back up to the car, and he's like, all right, buddy, I'll give you a deal. If you go and tell me a joke and make me laugh, I won't write you a ticket. And I went, well, hell yeah. Like, I just did this awesome set. I just pulled one of my good bits out, and I said it to him. No laugh. Just stone cold, stone face. And he went, yep, I better let you get home to that real job. And he handed me my shit and walked back to his car, and I was like, fuck the police. I get it, you know?
Jesus.
But yeah,
Talk about bombing, bro.
Oh my God, yeah. I was like, I was like, I would rather get shot than have you tell me I'm not, you know, like.
Jeez.
Yeah, ouch. Because like I said, I was like, oh, this will work, and like, didn't work at all. Because the joke I told, and also I was like maybe a year into stand up.
Yeah.
So like all your premises suck.
Yeah, they
you know?
definitely do.
But I was like, oh yeah, this one will kind of make sense if I chop all the information off it and just hit him with a punchline for no good reason. And he's just like, what the fuck just happened? And he was so annoyed he didn't even give me a ticket, so he just walked. He's like, whatever. He's like, fuck you. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, God damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the worst one I've had was, so I have a lot of Latino bits.
Yeah.
Hints, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
We've learned my type. So there was a table of white people.
What?
Those guys. And like, I was like, nah, this is my funny bit. I know it's funny.
Yeah.
So I told this joke. Mm-hmm. And they just looked at me. Because I told it here in Austin.
Yeah.
Which... It's the joke about, like, I changed my politics. I think that we should have a foreign exchange policy of a Latina woman for every 2 white women because the exchange rate, white women are not valuable anymore.
Yeah.
So, they didn't laugh.
Yeah, they're like, that's my wife.
They didn't laugh and they didn't tip. They did not tip me at all, dog. And I was so fucking mad about it because I was like, I didn't want to tell this bit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to. You forced me to tell this joke.
Yeah.
And then you got mad because the joke didn't land.
Yeah.
And then you didn't tip me.
Yeah. It's like, you got your steak how you wanted it, you
exactly.
bitch.
Fucking ordered fucking well-done steak with A1 sauce.
God.
The fucking worst.
Are you sure they were white?
Dog. They were city white. They weren't even country white, dog. They were the worst kind. They were hippies, bro.
Yeah, they're the bad whites, you know?
You don't want to associate with those kind of guys, man.
Yeah.
Those are the annoying ones. Those are the ones that thrift shop with all the money.
Oh, yeah,
those guys.
yeah.
Like,
we hate you.
Yeah, we hate you, bro.
Yeah.
Just know that.
Yeah.
I hope you don't sleep tonight, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope your wife is fucking someone else.
A Mexican.
Yeah.
Preferably. But, dog,
because they're generous.
They just need the green card, bro.
Yeah, they're just
they
earning it, you know?
There's nothing wrong with that. Putting in a good day's work of plowing your wife.
Yeah.
But
plowing your wife.
Dog, I don't being a server, dog. It is but honestly, like, even from a really small town in like Louisiana, that's really all we had was like restaurants. So like right out of high school, I got into restaurants. Yeah. And I started in the back of house. And just a little information for everybody. If you ever walk into the kitchen of a restaurant, you will learn that cocaine does run the place for most parts. But you'll also learn that 90% of restaurants are Mexican food if you go back into the kitchen. Yeah, we do cook steaks. Gonna let you know.
Yeah.
We cannot speak to the kitchen.
Yeah, see, The kitchen staff was all just felons.
And Mexicans.
Yeah, see, it was all whites. It was just the other kind of whites you don't like. The too poor whites, you know? Like,
The teardrop right here.
Yeah.
Of the face.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't pretty enough to get onto the floor.
Yeah, the ones that are like, I like Insane Clown Posse. I should get their logo tattooed on my face. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you don't like having sex?
No. Dude,
That isn't unconsensual? Or?
Could you imagine having sex with a female that has her face tattooed?
Oh, well, I mean, at least you would know that if you come in her and she gets pregnant, it's not the first kid getting abandoned. You know, like, that's one of many. That kid might not have a dad, but it's going to have friends. Different last name, but same mom. You know?
Oh my God. That is terrible. That is terribly hilarious. Dude, I could not imagine.
Just coming on someone else's name on a bitch's forehead or something. Just...
Well, because now I'm thinking of the idea, if a female has like a face tattoo,
Yeah.
she's just painting a target.
Yeah, yeah.
Like now I have something to aim for.
Yeah, yeah. It's like tramp stamps back in the day. That was the only reason it was there. No one wanted to see Love Angel or something on your fucking top of your ass crack.
Dude, tramp stamps are so funny.
Dude, have you met like a young person with a tramp stamp?
No.
I have. That's a wild bitch.
Really?
Yeah, like any young person that's like, I still think this is a good idea. She is on meth. You know, like that's a bad person.
Wow. Yeah, I've never met a young person.
Yeah, see, because the new, like, young hoe tattoos, I think are probably on the ass.
Mm.
You know, like the little, like, butt cheek where they get, like, a grapefruit or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the fuck, or, you know, like, come here, or, you know, whatever.
Is it spelled C-U-M?
Yeah. Well,
Has
is there
to be.
another way to spell it? Is that why I got marked off on so many papers in high school?
Interesting. I got a Louisiana education. I know how to spell the word come correctly.
Well, Missouri, you know, like,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Cornfields and cum, you know? The hard C.
That's
it's
the
the hard C
Is
word.
that the old Netflix and chill? Which
Yeah,
I used to do.
yeah.
Cornfield to come? Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's how you get the girls come over?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're like, hey, my double wide has heat, baby.
Heard that winter storm is coming, baby.
Yeah.
You know you're going to be cold.
Yeah.
Speaking of storms, Hurricane Katrina was fun. Just playing.
Oh my god.
But nah, dog, it's I couldn't imagine tramp stamps anymore. I have 4 tattoos and they're all covered up. They
Yeah.
have to be. I dated a chick with a tramp stamp, but she was 14 years older than me.
Okay. I thought you were going to stop at 14. I was like, cut that out. Cut that out of the show. Cut it.
I was 24 and she was 38. We actually worked at Dave & Buster's together.
Okay. So she was contributing to society heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many kids she have? 3, 4?
1. Interracial. But yeah, it is what it is, dog.
She has 2 now. The father disappeared and moved to Austin, Texas, but...
Hey, I have made it 28 great years with no kids.
Yeah.
And it's not by accident. I
It's because abortion used to be legal.
Denver, they still support it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's whenever.
Well, yeah, because you can always just push them down one of those tall hills.
I mean, you can still do that in Texas, technically.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all are crying about, bitches. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, just
abortion's still legal.
Yeah, just have a friend that's willing to hit women.
You want to come spar one day, guys?
Yeah. So, I don't know how long you gotta choke this bitch out, but...
Dude needs a little knee on belly.
Yeah.
You know, just nothing crazy.
It's God's work.
It is. Look, I've said this many of times. If I would have had a child at a young age, I would be just like everybody else in my graduating class.
Abandon it.
Worthless. But abandoning it is close to damn enough, dog.
Basically the same thing, just
Yes.
different verbiage.
Yes. Yeah, dog, I couldn't. I don't think I could ever have a kid, man. I'm so terrified to be a father.
Yeah. See, I want a kid just simply because I'm like, dude, a little me would be dope. But then at the same time, like, I want to travel around the world and do ha-has.
Exactly.
So, like, that thing's going to have abandonment issues.
And I have abandonment issues
Yeah.
from my own father,
Yeah.
so hence why I do comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't want to have a child to go down this life as well.
Yeah, we don't need any more comics.
We're done.
Trying to get on Kill Tony's hard enough.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was gonna go with that. I was like, dude, just another fucking piece of competition to get on Kill Tony, and it just so happened to be my fucking kid.
Yeah, you and your kid are trying to get on Kill Tony the same week.
It would be.
Still different last names though, because you abandoned.
Dude, could you imagine if say we blow up and we do have kids? They're like trying to sign up and they're in the pigsty and we're the guest.
Yeah, I'm just like, this guy's a pussy.
I'd be like, dude, your set sucked. Your mama sucks. I'm gonna fuck your mama tonight.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, well, I would just tell them that's why I left, you know?
Dude, that'd be the worst way to find out you have a kid.
They sign up
They
and you're
sign up.
like, my last name's not that popular. They're like, yeah.
Who's your mama?
Yeah, they're like, I actually got on here tonight because hello, Dad.
That's their whole minute is
Yeah.
they just roasting your ass?
Yeah, they're like, you left. I had to watch you on Netflix or whatever's gonna be popular. By the time we're able to have any money and get on a big show, it's gonna be like Tubi or something.
Oh, God. No, that would be the... Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's, that'd be interesting. So, what's the next big thing that you have going on in Austin?
Just open mics. Hopefully we're gonna get our own show started out here soon.
Be cool.
Let's try to get the fans into supporting that.
Yeah.
Because hopefully we'll get our own show running. Because I did a lot of show running, and maybe if we get enough fan support, hit up your local favorite Austin bar in North Austin.
Yeah.
And tell them that there's these two really funny white guys that need more attention.
Yeah.
You know? And you
That's
could.
all they need in the world is white guys with more attention.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, we're not desperate enough just trying to be comedians. We need to put cameras on us once a week and then have people watch us there too.
Yes.
So
That's why they need the Mexican guy.
yeah, exactly.
And he's behind the camera, guys.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
Where we like them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or
Behind the border.
yeah.
Right?
Doing all the work that the whites don't
Exactly.
want to.
Doing all the fucking work. He's doing all the hard stuff, you know?
Having sex with the women we don't want to.
Yep, all the white women.
The whites.
Yep. Next thing we're gonna know is he's gonna get married and need a green card.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna do that. And
Yeah. We're both gonna have sex with him, and that's birthday, boys.
That is birthday boy.
Cheers.
Guys.
Cheers, Cody. Cheers, JP.
Cheers, JP.
Hell yeah. Oh my god.
Fuck yeah, man.